Hey everybody, how you doing? This is Don Peter Gentleman, aka the ExoticPrenuer, aka Mr. Snatcherini. Hey, look, I had a lot on my mind, and while I'm going out here, and just get my walk for the day, and my daily exercise. One of the key things of greatness is you're practicing your health habit. Now, I haven't been animately on talking about all of these different habits that achieve greatness, but I want to just kind of seed into you a couple things. And one of the biggest things that was hard for me growing up and uh, becoming myself, becoming into my true self, was the fact of the matter that no one understood or understood the level of greatness that was in me. And what I'm here to share with you today on this live on this feed is that I need you to understand that you need to respect your greatness. Now I'm going to share with you some principles from what I've learned from being around greatness and understanding things. And these are just some principles. These are some habits. These are just some habits. Now I'm not going to get all the way into it, but one of the key habits that you want to be able to take account for and understand and take ownership of is your self habit. And that's recognizing yourself, accepting yourself for who you are and what you are. Now, some people are meant to be good. Some people are meant to be mediocre. Some people are meant to be great. Now, I believe I'm meant to be great because everything I did always put me in a position where I had to be greater than my circumstance. I had to get stronger than my circumstances. When I lost everything in 2019 and had to start figuring out how to rebuild it because I was in an industry that was not special, that highly was not highly acceptable because by being a man for one, and then with the skills that I possess, how was I able to transfer that honestly into a whole nother industry without catching the deep resentment from people that just don't like that industry? And that's the exotic entertainment industry, because in Michigan it's very common, it is normalized, but in the grander scheme of things, in the grander areas, is not a, acceptable space, even though a lot of people have been becoming successful and found ways out of it, and their mentality has become highly successful. It's still not a energy or a space or an energy that is considered admirable. So from coming from that spot, there was places where that people would look at me and say, well, why are you wasting your talent on these people? Why are you wasting on your energy on that? And see, in a lot of ways, I resonated with them. Why? Because they had a skill that I didn't have. I didn't have confidence like they had. I wasn't a person that was able to go out and just speak boldly with confidence and authority like I am now when I was younger. Why? Because when I was growing up, everybody made me feel inferior for being intelligent, made me feel inferior for not you know fitting in with them. So over time, it wasn't a question of was I capable or competent. That was my intelligence was never in question. It was my ability, like, well, what are you going to achieve with your intelligence? And for me, I was looking for greatness. I was looking for something bigger than the regular. I wanted something bigger than the mediocre. Like everybody promoted, all right, well, just take that intelligence and go get a job as an architect or an engineer or a draftsman. Well, I didn't want that. Why? Because that seemed like it felt to me, now this with all due respect, that wasn't my lane. Why? Because it felt mediocre to me. It felt like, okay, well, I'm just gonna go on and draw these houses, draw these things for people, and yeah, it'll function right and it'll be great. But what else? What was the next level? A lot of times we get beat up on or attacked because we got all this greatness inside of us, but yet somebody's trying to figure out how to get you to go along with their point of view, because they never understood greatness. They ever seen your level of where you trying to be, but yet they're trying to find a way to put you in that space because that's all they know. But then when you start seeing that there's a possibility of something higher and there's a way that you can get there, why not go for it? Why not go for it? When I was growing up, there was time, there was when I was growing up. Now I'm the oldest of 10 kids, so being the oldest of 10 kids, there's a lot of resentment, there's a lot of animosity, there's a lot of underlying shit that goes on with that. And my father always pressed me to be the leader and set the example. Now that's a lot of pressure on anybody. You know, so when I speak to the man, I'm talking to the man, and I speak to, I feel you. I understand what it's like to be in a household where everybody's looking at you to do something and you don't even understand what the fuck to do. You know, you don't understand. You know that you have to be a leader, or you have to stand up, you have to show up. But hell, you're a kid at this time. If you're 21, 22, 23, yeah, they say you got to be a man, but yeah, you still got to learn. You still got to live life. Hell, you still coming together. Hmm. You're still coming together. You're still coming together at 35, 40. Like, you're still reaching your financial maturity, your social maturity, your presence. Now, because of that, you know, they put all this social and emotional and mental pressure against you, as if, like, if you're not great by 24 or 25, you're a fucking failure. And that's false. That's a lie. That's a attack of the enemy trying to take you away from your greatness and not giving you and not allowing yourself to move into a different space. Now, understand, some people catch the win early. But here's the thing is, they might make the money, but they still ain't got the discipline. They still ain't got the balance of that. You know, and because, you know, a lot of our queens and our princesses are taught to be catered to on a level. They're taught to be catered to on a level where that now, since supposed to be prized, and they are of high value, but yet they're supposed to be taken care of in a space where that now, if they're winning and you're not, you become less than. And now you're competing with each other instead of cohabitating with each other, instead of working with each other. And that becomes a demeaning space, because now it's a big I little you type of energy. And that is wrong. Now, I'm speaking on the energy of what I experienced and what they put out here. Like, I respect our women. I love our women. I love all women, to be honest with you. You know, but there's an energy that I believe is very disrespectful. There's very despicable in its intention. Not, but I understand where you're coming from, because I understand the hurt that you experienced when you was looking for your father when you was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I know it. I feel it. Why? I have a daughter. And I know, I see the look on her face when I'm there and when I'm not. I see the look on her face if I say something and I don't follow through and I got to make it up to her. I see the look on her face. I see the levels of disappointment. I see the levels of like, well, are you making a promise, or are you just being them? I see the levels of when I want attention, I want affection, I want to be loved, I want to be appreciated, I want to be acknowledged. I see it. Why? One of the best ways for you to learn how to treat a woman is having a fucking daughter, because you're going to treat her. And this is a tip for a lot of y'all ladies. If you ever want to know how a man really wants to treat you, see how he treats his daughter. That's really how he want to treat you. He want to love on you and care to you in a way that you will never know no fear. You will never know no thing. But in that case, it gets to a point where he's not going to compete with you. He's not going to fight with you, especially if he knows who he is, especially if he has a purpose, especially if he's defined by purpose and he's wearing it with pride. If he's working hard to make sure that we're winning, not a roof over your head. Come on, because that's cliche. That's old. It's tired. Look, the national and we're going to kick out some facts before I get back into it. The national income and statistics on financial stability right now. The census right now on financial stability is that, what is it? 54 Americans right now requires two incomes to maintain a stable family. Requires two incomes, not one, not one. That was back in the day. Look, when the industrial spirit and that back in the day where the man was the head and he was the breadwinner and the woman was the homemaker. That time is that time. That's not what it is. That's not the reality right now. In all other countries, the wife works at the same level and is respected in the same capacity as a breadwinner or income earner, just like the man. The only difference is that the leadership still falls on the man. That's the only difference. And there's respect in between that. Now I'm talking to my sisters now. I'm talking to my sisters. There's a big disconnect. Now I appreciate that they're putting out more content because of the Kevin Samuels of the world that's been putting out content and checking that energy that's wrong, that negative energy. Now I'm not going to say it all disrespectfully like that. You feel me? But the facts are the facts. The truth is the truth. Because I understand. I feel your pain. I feel where you coming from. And because of that, I understand where we got to go to, where we got to elevate. You feel what I'm saying? See, I'm the exoticpreneur for a reason. The reason why I'm an exoticpreneur is not because I use my unique thinking in action. It's because I've seen the greatness that our women have been able to produce with or without us. That it just lacked a little bit of tweaking, a little bit there. I also seen the greatness that the men have when they're focused energy and they're not working against each other, but working together. How would I see that happen? Because in the exotic entertainment industry, the men and the women work together because they going after the same goal. They follow a direction, and that's to attract and invite, to attract and invite. And they are masters at it. They're masters at it, you know? So since there's masters at it, they're one of the best teams that I've ever seen put together. Now that does no disrespect to the married life, in the married life, but let's look at the stats. 50% of all Americans end a divorce before the age of 40. Don't shoot the messenger. Just understand the message. That means there's something going on inside of their cohabitation that's a disconnect. There's something that's going on there that they haven't learned about each other. See, and me as a man who cherishes marriage, who understands the value of marriage, who understands the business of marriage, that I'm not going to play with it. And I challenge you men to not play with it just to keep her locked down. I challenge you women to not validate yourself by that if you're not going to be that. Because a lot of women are not meant to be married. just call a spade a spade. A lot of men are not ready for marriage, are not meant to be married. Because I tell you right now, most men are scared to be married, not because they fear it, it's because they fear you. They're fearful of the fact that once I lock into you, you're going to change. You're not going to be the same love and supportive woman that they locked into. Why? Because the history. So the history, the promotion and the actual numbers don't lie. Most Americans get divorced, but before or by the time their kids are out of college. Most married couples. That's the reality situation. Now I wish I can do something to fix that. All I can do is just put out the message that if you choose to allow yourself to be free, allow yourself to cohabitate and learn each other in the proper form, that you'll be able to love each other in all forms. Now that's my philosophy. That's what I stand on. Because again, I love to love, and I love me well enough to know how to love you the right way. You know. So if that resonates with you, if that makes sense, if you understand as a man that I feel you, and that if you need to step it up, if you want to get into a community, into a community of like-minded men and women that want to see you succeed, but want to create a dialogue, then let's tap in. Let's create that dialogue. Now, I'm opening up a new podcast. It's going to be up soon, called Keys to the Bag. And now these are going to be paneled by some of my closest exoticpreneurs who have uh, achieved greatness on a reputable level, and they're going to speak on different topics. And one of the biggest topics they're going to speak on is relationships. Because you got to understand, here's the reality of the situation. Why I'm saying this is that the reason why that industry still is going to thrive, no matter what, is because there's a continual disconnect of the household, the family life that they run to our world and our industry to vent on or to expand on. That's what they do. It's not a physical thing. It's an emotional thing. It's a spiritual thing. You understand what I'm saying? Women do it and the men do it. So you're going to be in front of these people who will expand on how to help your relationship go better, help your business get stronger, help your market become attractive, you know? But to learn more about that, you can follow me on Instagram and learn about that and get more acclimated on knowledge of self, follow your self habit. And another one that I'm going to drop the gem onto you in the 6 daily habits is a relationship habit. Understanding how to connect and relate to your partner, your friends, your families, and other people in an authentic and realistic way. And with that being said, I need y'all to define your purpose. Let's wear it with pride. Let's stay healthy. Let us get wealthy.